A very good morning to everyone. Welcome to Global Online, and here we are back with our new unit, that is communication. As you all are aware that we have already completed our unit, that is teaching aptitude and research aptitude. So today onwards, today we are going to start with new batch, and for this batch we have the live class which is scheduled at 10 a.m. every day. And the topic for today is communication unit, where we are going to start from the basic, and the session today will be on the subtopic that is called as models of communication. Before we go ahead, quickly let's have a look what does Global Online has to offer for. Yes, Global Online has a complete course for paper 1, which the new batches have already started from October 2022, which consists of full syllabus notes, full syllabus video lectures, daily live lectures. You have recorded lectures, 60 plus mock test, last 10 years question papers, 2000 plus MCQ in PDF form, which is available in English as well as in Hindi. That is, the content is available in English as well as in Hindi. Apart from that, in case if you have any such queries, such concerns, you can kindly get in touch with us on the given WhatsApp number, which you can see on the screen, which is reflected on the screen. I'm extremely sorry. And the fees for paper 1 is 4,500. In case if you are looking something for paper 2, so for paper 2 we have this following subjects which you can see on your screen. Even for paper 2 we have a complete video lectures for all the topics and the subjects, full video syllabus notes, test series, previous year question papers in PDF format, full study plan. You have a complete, in case if you are taking paper 2, you will be getting paper 1 free. So paper 1 is completely free with paper 2. Again, if you have any concerns, any doubts, you can get in touch with us on the given WhatsApp number. The fees for paper 2 is rupees 8,000. So this is what the fees is for your paper 2. Now, in case if you want to check with our notes, or if you want to have a look at it, you can first download the app that is called as Global Online app. This is how the interface will be looked. You can just register yourself with the mobile number so that you can know what type of courses are there and what is available in paper 1. In paper 1, once you pay the fees for paper 1, you will be able to get into the interface, that is the various units. Okay, you will be having various video lectures. You will be having video lectures on various topics as well as mock test, 2000 plus MCQ PDF, previous year question papers. Scholarship test is nothing but evaluation test, which you can appear after every class, as this will help you for your preparation for upcoming examinations. Jeevan, very good morning. In case anyone who is using iOS, you can download the My Institute app. It will be asking you organization code. You can just put the organization code, that is IDBST, and you can start with your basic things which I have already told you. So this is all we have at the platform of Global Online. And as I said, today we'll be starting with the models of communication in detail. Now, the reason, first of all, this topic is very important, and as it is the start of the day, fresh morning, so it will help you to understand the topic very properly, so that any type of questions which you are learning from this particular concepts or model, you can be able to answer it easily. And this questions on the models are nowadays seen very commonly in your question papers. So we'll have them we'll look at them in a very detailed form. So now let's start with the session for the day. So basically you have 3 types of communication models, which is linear model, interactive models, and transactional models. So if you have seen, I have mentioned here models. So it means that under linear models you have various types, under interactive models you have various types, under transactional models you have various types. So today my agenda is we will be doing 2 models. Today I have set an agenda for completing 2 models, that is linear model we'll be doing today, and we will be doing interactive models. Transactional model we will take for the next session, okay, next class. So let's start with linear models. So under linear models, first of all, understand linear model is something which which indicates one way of communication. It only has a there is no feedback. The best part of this model, I mean to say best part, it means the point to remember is basically there is no feedback. And how to, what type of models are under linear model. So we have Aristotle model, we have Lasswell's model, we have Shannon and Vivo model, and we have Berlow model, which comes under linear models of communication. I have specified the years also. Sometimes, you can get it in the form of chronological order to arrange them. So these models, basically these models are the one which will help you to, understand what form of linear models are available. So let's go one by one. Okay. The first is the linear model of communication. So let's first understand what is the meaning of linear model of communication. Okay. And then we will start with the base. So when I'm talking about linear model of communication, it is basically the model of communication which is one way. Okay, it is one way model of communication where feedback is not present. Okay, as I said, there is absence of feedback. So the model of communication is one way with no feedback. It is a primary communication model, whereas the transactional model is formed based on linear model. No doubt, it is, as I said, it is a primary, okay, a set of model, but the transactional model, okay, cannot be formed, based on linear model. So linear model is considered as one of the primary model of communication. Then we have the sender. That is what? The sender communicates with the receiver without receiving any feedback. Okay, so there is no feedback, absence of feedback. So you can see absence of feedback. I have highlighted this point also very well. Absence of feedback is one of the important, point to be remembered under linear model. And it also, as I said, it also represents one-way process of communication. So linear model, where we have a sender, where we have a message, where we have a channel through which message pass. Noise is a part of distraction and the receiver, but there is no such indication of a feedback. Okay. Now under this second type, that is we have is interactive models. So we are first learning all the meanings of the model. So first we saw what linear models. Under linear models we saw that these are the models. Okay. But then second we have as interactive model. Interactive model refers to a two-way process of communication where feedback is not simultaneous. So it provides slow and indirect feedback. So this is a point of difference, no doubt. Interactive model, as I said, the word interactive, it means it is, it's happening in two-way process. So yes, feedback is present. Yes, feedback is present. But here, what is the problem is that feedback is not simultaneous. Okay. So it is considered as it provides a slow feedback or there is an indirect feedback. Sometimes the communication can be linear because of, no simultaneous feedback if receiver does not reply to the sender. So it can be, absence of feedback. It can go back to the linear model. The interactive model of communication indicates mediated and internet-based communication. Okay. So like when we talk about internet-based communication, yes, the feedback tends to be very slow or it can be indirect. Okay. Next comes as your transactional model, the third models. The transactional model seems to be one way, but here the communication is very immediate. So you see here you can see, the feedback which comes, it comes in a very immediate form, or you can say it is simultaneous, and which is one of the most essential component or element or a feature of transactional model. So please try to understand that in transactional model, sometimes students get confused with transactional and interactive. So I'll clear that confusion also. First, let me complete this. So the communication process will not become transactional if there is no feedback. It's as straight as that. So the feedback is direct and very fast. The receiver is compelled to provide an instant feedback. What is called as instant feedback? Immediate feedback. So you can even call it as instant feedback. The major difference, see here, it is written very clearly. The major difference between interactive and transactional model is direct and indirect feedback. So this point you have to keep in mind very, very well. Many times students get confused. Transactional model and interactive model is one and the same. So what is the difference? The difference is with the feedback process. Under interactive model, the feedback tends to be slow, whereas it can be indirect also. Whereas under the under interactive model, the feedback becomes indirect, and under transactional model, it becomes direct. So I hope again I'll go back to the first thing. That is, as I said, we have three types of models. One is linear, one is interactive, and one is transactional. So we have studied all this model. Linear is one-way process model. Okay. I hope this is very clear, because many times going so much, reading so much in detail, students still are confused with this. So one-way model is called as linear model, whereas two-way models are interactive model as well as transactional model. Okay. But then what is the difference between both of them? In interactive model, feedback is present, but it tends to be slow or indirect. Okay. In other words, you can say it is not immediate. Whereas in transactional model, it is fast, it is immediate, it is instant, it is simultaneous, and it is direct. So this is a basic thing which you have to remember in mind very well. Okay, now so let's start with our first model, that is linear model. As I said, there are four types of models. So here also in distinguish between, in code questions or maybe in the match the following, you can get this. So under linear model, there are basically four types of models, that are Aristotle, Lasswell's model, Shannon and Weaver model, or Berlow's SMCR model. So one by one, let's see about them. Interactive I'll take later. Okay, this I'm not confusing you everything togetherly. First, I'm focusing only and only on linear model today. So linear model, so where we have Aristotle model of communication, the first model under linear comes Aristotle. So where we have a speaker, where we have a speech, where we have an occasion, audience and effect. So this is a golden rule to excel in Aristotle model. This model is one of the golden rule to excel in public speaking, seminars, lectures, where the sender make his point very clear by the content. Now here see, it is very impressive content, passing on the message to the second part, that is to the receiver. Simply then they simply respond accordingly. Here the sender is one of the active member and the receiver is passive one. So if you see, Aristotle model has a speciality in what? Impressive content, that is talking about or considering impressive content. Now we have the second model is Lasswell's communication model. I hope everyone is clear with the first model, okay? Because this is the second model, Lasswell's communication model, where we have communicator, the who, where we have message, what it says, where we have a medium in the form of channel, where we have receiver, that is to whom, and where we have the effect, that is it talks about with what impact. So under Lasswell's model, these are the five main components, that is the communicator, the sender, the message, the medium, the receiver and the effect. So this particular model, okay, it has, these five components. So sometimes, you get the question on this particular model that, okay, what are the components? So you have to remember that this model is one of the influential model of communication, okay, which indicated the who, which indicated what it says, which indicated the channel, to whom and the impact or the effect, okay. So this particular model it's basically like, it is, you can tell the main function of this model is to have a surveillance, that is basic function or feature, to have a correlation or, to have a transmission. So that was an important part of this model. And if you want to understand the importance, like for example, in Aristotle model, we have impressive content, no? So here this model basically was to, ensure that the study of, like for example, it is basically the rich people, it is said that only rich people used to have this communication medium in the form of televisions and radio back then, okay. And as I said, this model is one of the richest or business time model which was considered during those time, okay. Now coming to next is your Shannon and Weaver model. So when we talk about Shannon and Weaver model, it is one of the most popular model of communication which is widely accepted all over the world. So I've just highlighted some important points. If you can see, Shannon and Weaver model simply proposes that a message actually originates from the person who gets the thought or who has the information. So the moment or the person who has the information or the person who has the idea about it, or the one who originates the idea, is the one who is the who plays an actual role in the communication. So here, who is that? The sender. So the sender is the one, okay. The sender is also called as what? The source of communication or the source of information, or it is called as information source. The information gets transmitted from the brain to the mouth and comes out as a signal, which talks about what? Which then reaches the recipients after, after joining the hands with several noises, that is distraction and other disturbance. So here another important point which you need to keep in mind. The recipient then further passes on the message to its final destination, or to the send, that is receiver. The recipient, that is in the form of what? In the form of feedback. So it talks about what? The receiver, that is the recipient, sends the message. It means it is trying to give what? Trying to give a feedback. But whether it is reaching, not reaching, that plays an important role. Is it clear? Okay. Now, next we have is Berlow's model, that is SMCR model of communication. So again, Berlow's model, that is source, a sender. We have encoder, we have a message, we have a channel, we have a decoder and the receiver. So if you see source, which comes with communication skills, attitude, knowledge, social system, culture, which is applicable to the receiver also. Message talks about content, elements, treatment, structure, code, hearing, seeing, touching, smelling and tasting. So now when we talk about this particular model, this model, it talks about what? It talks about emotional aspect. So if we saw Aristotle model, the first model which we discussed, it had put speaker in central position and the one who drive the entire communication process. But here they considered the emotional aspect of the model, where the S stands for the sender, that is the source, the M stands for message, C stands for channel and R stands for receiver. So this is what is important aspect of what? The Berlow's SMCR model of communication. I hope it's very clear with everyone. So right now, see, right now we have done this particular part. We have studied first what is linear model of communication, okay. Secondly, what is communication model under linear model. Just a second everyone. Neelam, a very good morning. Neelam, I was searching your number. Can you just ping me on this channel number asking for my details? So if you can ping on that, it will be great. We can get in touch with you. So if I'll just show you the number. Just a minute. Let me complete this particular slide. So linear model of communication, it talks about Aristotle model, where we saw impressive impressive content. Lasswell's model of communication, where we saw that this particular model of communication, how it indicates, the business and the business agenda, or the people who had, the rich people who had used communication with the help of television and radios. Then we studied Shannon and Weaver model, one of the oldest and widely accepted model of communication, and Berlow's model, which talks about emotional aspect. Okay. Neelam, you can please get in touch with me on this numbers if you can. Okay, the numbers which I am reflecting on the screen. So these are both the WhatsApp numbers. So you can please, on these numbers, you can ask for my details, and it will help you out. Okay, fine. Now coming to next is the first model we have completed. Linear model is completely done. Now the next model which we are going to talk about, or we are going to see, is our yes, our interactive model. So before that, in case still if you want to have a summarization about linear model, so for that also I have made a slide for you. So Aristotle model, as I said, it talks about what the 5 best elements: speaker, speech, occasion, target audience, effect. Lasswell's model, it talks about 5 questions: who, who said what